Hey YouTube, today's project is how to repair a mower deck without welding. This is basically for a deck where you might get a little hole. This was actually just like a little pinhole, and as I started sanding it got a little bigger, but the rest of the deck is all solid. Might be a little paint bubbles here and there, but I'm not going to really do anything with those. This mower's just not worth putting a lot of time into, although prices have gone up, so this is not so much a cheap mower anymore. But the reason why this happened was because the previous person who had this, when I got this, there was grass all caked on here, and underneath there was probably about at least a good 2 or 3 inches of just grass stuck up in there. So if this kept going for a while, it would get a lot worse. So, but I got a method to do this. It'll work for small holes like that, maybe up to the size of a dime, and it's good on mowers that don't have a lot of problems. If you got a big whole section in here that's all holes, I mean, it's not going to work, but for something like that, it will work. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first step here is to come underneath and clean this area up real good. I use the wire wheel, clean that area up. Then what I want to do is I want to put something here to hold the epoxy that I'm going to put in here, but I want to leave a little pocket in here to try to basically fill this. So I'm going to get some tape and I'm going to put it on here around this area, but I'm going to leave a little section here where it's not stuck. So basically I'm going to make like a little pocket. See this? It's almost like a little dimple. Okay, and now I could fill it from the top, and it'll ooze in here a little bit, onto the bottom and on the top. Okay, so what we're using is a JB Weld, just a clear 5-minute epoxy. I want you to see this, that this tape, I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually moving, so it's not stuck onto anything. I could put this pick all around because I want to try to bond underneath here. And we're just going to fill this and try to flow it in through that hole. And I'm going to come back and fill. I'm going to come back and sand this down so I can actually carry this around the outside here. So that seems pretty good. You could get, like I said, you could get an area about that size, maybe a little bit bigger. So I'm going to let this dry out. I can come back here and sand it and give it a little paint. And like I said, the rest of the deck is nice condition, just that little imperfection there. So let that dry, come back and sand it and paint it. Okay, so our glue has got a chance to dry and set up. So now I just gotta, let's see, it ran a little bit here because it was on this curve here. So just gotta come in here, sand this down, and then put some paint on that. So that's my little touch up spot. I mean, I knew the paint wasn't going to work because it was a John Deere green and it doesn't really match this, but just going to feather those edges in there when it dries up a little bit more. And you can see kind of puddled out here, so it's on there pretty nice. I'm just going to hit this with a little Just a little less coating just to cover that up. You know, some people say that stuff is not good to use, but I'm not really restoring this deck or anything. I'm just going to hit it with a little. Main thing would be to clean your deck and not have this problem. So that's about it. Just gonna let all that dry up, and you know, it's not an expensive mower, so, but that's it. All right, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks.